You guys, this is what makes it hard sometimes when you're working by yourself off the ground. Yay. Hey guys, welcome back. So, what you have there is a transmission out of this thing right here. So we're gonna go ahead and pull it apart on the bench and see if we can find anything at all. I'm not a professional trans builder. It is something I kind of taught myself. The trans has been in it for 2 years now. And again, I don't know if I'm gonna find anything or not. So let's dive into it. All right, I got myself a little container right here. I'm gonna start tearing through this thing and see if we see anything at all. I've never owned anything with a trans brake in it, to be honest with you, so I really don't know what to expect as far as wear and tear goes. So I knew there was an awful lot of clutch material in the pan when I pulled this thing apart. Now, obviously I expect some of that. I really don't know how much to expect, to be honest with you. But first thing I do is I take all these little lines, my A and fittings out, my linkage off. That way I just don't risk hurting any of it, as it really doesn't take much. All you gotta do is, put one little ding in the end of one of these fittings, and they're no good. They're never gonna seal up. And they are aluminum, so it's just easier to take this stuff off now, put it in a little container, and never look back. You guys will have to excuse me because I'm gonna be running back and forth, grabbing stuff as we go. 1 inch. So that's the neutral safety switch, or the switch for the incorporated in that is the switch for the reverse lights. I always take that out right there. While I'm at it, I'll go ahead and take that breather off the top of this thing. We'll go ahead and pull that out too. That's just a breather. I normally like to do this on my stainless steel bench, but right now I've got a bunch of things sitting on it, unfortunately. And the other downfall of this is it is going to make a raging mess. Trans fluid is going to go everywhere, which it has already started to. I tried to let it bleed out for a couple of days, and it did, but there's no way to get all the trans fluid out of it without actually taking the guts of it apart. It's just passages and stuff all over the place. So, take the pan off, sit it under here. I actually make a special bench just to work on transmissions with a trough, which, I just don't do it enough to really need it. But the way this welding table is angled, the stuff will kind of come out the front of it, which works in my advantage. So we will go ahead and pull the valve body out. This is a John Coe valve body. It is a reverse manual with trans brake. And it also has lockup. That is on a push button. And you can put it in lockup in any gear. Like that. I think I go, oops, I missed two. Here comes the fluid. So that right there is, if you can see that, that's the park rod right there. So I'll take this valve body. I like to take it and sit it down here in the pan under the bench, and then we'll cover it up. All right. So next thing I'm going to do is see if I can turn it for you guys. We'll go ahead and release the second gear band. So this is your adjuster. That's for that second gear. That's the bigger band, and this is your low reverse band. So I got to go ahead and take that nut and screw that out. We'll pull out the anchor and that bar in there real quick. Wherever that stuff's at. Right there. Pull that little wedge out. Pull that out. And that's the servo. They call that thing right there an accumulator. And you've got another servo in here. There's a snap ring and a spring. I said that's your low and reverse stuff. So now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pull this pump out. Go ahead and pull the pump out real quick. I gotta switch sockets, so bear with me. Okay, so either 12 or a 13. It's definitely a 13. Here's our 13. Go ahead. All pump bolts out. Sit them off to the side. Right there. And now what I can do, they make a puller for this pump, but if I remember right, if I stick my bar down in there like so, that should have been enough. Yep, it was, to get that thing loose. So pull the pump out right there. This is your pump. So that's our pump. That's a shim. I use this Teflon sealing ring, so they're on there. Sorry, I'm looking at this pump bushing. Doesn't look too bad. So get that out of the way. That's the gasket. That's trash. All right, so give me a second. everything looks all right. I don't see anything sticking out at me so far. It looks really good. Like I said, it didn't have that many miles on it. You know, it's got abuse on it, obviously. But not a bunch of miles. So I'm going to take this pump, set it off to the side. Now, what we're going to do is pull out the input shaft and then our front and rear clutch packs are going to come out. Well, I thought. Might because the way I got this thing sitting. Guys. Okay. So this is our second gear band, which looks absolutely amazing, right? So it's out. I'm going to set it off to the side. So that's good. That little washer, that's just like a little thrush washer right there. You got another washer. That is actually a billet planetary from A&A. They recommended that for with the trans brake. So we got that right there. So what I'm gonna do is this drum right here, your band wraps around the outside of it. Right there, this is a billet drum that I got. The camera. So let's take a look at this stuff real quick. So pull our snap ring out, then we're going to pull our stack out. And our stack looks really, really good as well. I used Alto Red Eagles when I put this thing together. The first time they do make, there's, you know, different makers that make different clutches and stuff for different abuse. So pull all these out. They're gonna fight me a little bit. This stuff looks really, really good. So nothing really there per se. Like I said, and I'll go more in depth. Right now it's just looking for anything obvious. Alright, so that's third gear direct. Your band goes around that. This is a billet input shaft that I put in it. So it's got a billet input shaft. It's got a billet piston. This is our other clutch pack. This is our forward clutch pack. So we're going to inspect it real quick. Alright. Too bad. Ooh, there's a little bit of burning. Oh, sorry guys. Bear with me here. Right, so forward clutch pack. I don't see anything obvious. Let's see, I think. Yeah, there's some scorch right there. That one's got pretty hot. Yeah, you can tell they're burned. I don't know what that's from. It's funny. Yeah, you could tell they got hot. I know I did have an instance. I had an instance last year where the transmission fan failed and the thing got really, really, really hot. And that's what that may or may not be from. Again, I'm no expert. I'm not really sure why that looks like that. I mean, it's not hateful. I mean, obviously, you know, it looks like if you were cooking and you burnt something. So, for some reason, that did that. I don't know why. Again, I'm no expert. I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with that trans fan failing, and it just roasted them. That was. I did some research, and the way this thing was acting, that was one of the suspected things that could or could not have been going on with it. Was that stuff was stuck. So I am just going to put this back in here real quick. So just bear with me. Okay. So that's right there. And then I need to take and pull the overdrive section off of it for us. I also want to take that's an intermediate shaft, and it runs right through the middle of the trans. It might be easier for me to separate this thing. All right, guys, bear with me real quick. Let me turn, I'm going to move the camera and move some stuff around, so just hang out. All right, overdrive unit's off. Now what I do is pull out the gear set in the thing. So that is the gear set. All right, that's got my planets in it. There's no clutches in there. This is a hardened intermediate shaft, and it looks really, really good. To be expected. So I got that. So I'm gonna set it off to the side here. I gotta grab another rag. So set it off to the side. I got my overdrive pistons right there, but we're gonna leave it alone. Then down here in the bottom of this thing is a snap ring. All the way down there. See if I can do this with one hand. Maybe not. There it goes. So I got that. So we'll set that up here. This is the rear drum for low and reverse. And that is the sprag all the way down in there. And that, I was worried. The point of that valve, they call that valve body, it's called low band apply. And be honest with you, I was worried about it. And the point of that load band applies to protect this thing right here. This thing's called a sprag, and it rolls one way, and then the other way it catches. You know, kind of like the old bicycles. You can pedal one way, and then you try to pedal backwards and hits the brake, and your little kid, you skid your tire. Same kind of concept. It is in a plastic cage with little rollers and little springs. Now this outside race here, in some situations, especially in the diesels, this thing actually tends to come out of the case. This is a bolt-in version where it has a piece that I had to drill, or has a template or whatever you put on the other side of the trans, and you drill the holes out and you bolt this ring into place just for added strength. That thing doesn't come out, especially in situations where like the tires are spinning and then they hook. So honestly, so far the only thing I see is those clutches right there, and that is the rear pack, aka the forward drum, that have gotten cherry hot. Now I didn't pull all the clutches out of our direct. Let's see if I can do this real quick for you guys. I don't know if you can see that. So, looks pretty good. They look alright. We'll keep going deeper. Pull out the rest of these things. That one looks really good. That one looks really good. That one looks really good as well. So everything looks pretty good. Again, the bushing looks pretty good. All that stuff looks good. Again, I'm not a professional. I don't know why that thing was doing what it was doing. So all that stuff goes back there. Those clutches in that direct, when I say direct, that's actually for third gear. That clutch inside that pack, they call it direct because it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Really the only thing I'm concerned about is this rear clutch drum, forward clutch drum, whatever you want to call it. The fact that them things were just burnt. And I don't know why that is. I'm going to have to do some research. I might call and ask. I can reuse all the clutches in this stuff, and the band. All that stuff is reusable. At this point, I just need a gasket and a seal kit. That second gear band is perfect. There's nothing wrong with that, so we can definitely reuse that. I don't really see anything wrong with the pump. That pump looks really good. I have to pull it apart and double check the I'll pull it apart and double check the bushing inside it and make sure there's a bushing inside here on the other side of the seal, and check that and make sure it's okay. The sprag's okay, this rear drum's okay. So far really don't see anything besides them clutches. Now something I did do, and I don't know, when I serviced it, I tightened the rear band up, and I'm wondering if I didn't do it correctly, and that's why it was doing that weird thing. That, or for some reason, if that was applied, if you go from first gear, it should have that pack applied right here, and then it should have this rear band clamped. And what was happening was, when I put it into neutral, it's just free spinning. It wasn't. It was holding it. That could have something to do with that right here. This one right here being, you saw how discolored it was. one more time for us. So this goes here. Another thing I'm going to do too real quick. Look how dark. Yeah, them things got hot. I don't know if it's stuck or what the deal is. Now another thing you can do too, or I can do, is I can take all these discs and lay them on each other. So these are the steels, right? This is all the metal surface, and these are your wearable clutch sections, modules, whatever you want to call them. And what you can do is you can lay these steels together and then hold them to light and see if they're warped, because they should all be checked. They should all be touching. And I don't think they're warped. They don't look warped. But again, I'm just taking them and stacking them like this and holding them up to the light. And they don't appear to be warped. I mean, I don't know if you guys can catch it on the camera. Yeah, I don't think they're warped. I don't know why. You know, I'm just gonna have to find out. I don't know why them things are smoked like that. I mean, you guys can see it yourself. And it was really just the two middle ones, almost. And this is the same way as I can take these clutches and put them together like this and hold them up. You know, they don't look warped. I mean, obviously it's hot. It got really, really, really hot. But no actual signs of warpage. So they, you know, I'll go ahead and replace them while we're in here. That's definitely getting replaced. I don't know, guys. Again, not a professional. I can tell you that it's not right, you know, but I'm not a professional. All this stuff looks great, you know, third gear and all that stuff. Bragg looks good. So anyway, the only other thing I didn't do was there's some clutches. There's a clutch set or two. There's two stacks. This is your overdrive. This is for fourth gear. I never beat on the truck in overdrive. I just use overdrive and for the highway, as well as a lockup and converter. That stuff should be fine. So I'll pull it out. I'm not gonna pull it out. You know, pull it apart on camera. I'm sure it's fine. Actually, the way I've got it assembled is it's got more clutches than a typical, you know, 46 RE would. It has the same amount of clutches you'd find in the diesel trans. I think there are like 10 of them or so in the one pack that I stacked in there. But, so that's it for right now. Thanks for watching. I'm going to do a little bit of research and we'll figure out what's going on with this and get it cleaned up.